Hey guys, it's me, Poppy Rain here. Today we're going to be reading Children's Books as Classic, which we are almost done with. The story we are on is one of my favorite stories from childhood. I loved these books. Encyclopedia Brown. From Encyclopedia Brown in the Case of the Secret Pitch by Donald J. Subel, illustrated by Leonard Shortall. Brown Detective Agency, 13 Rogers Avenue. Leroy Brown, President. No case too small. 25 cents per day, plus expenses. Per usual, we're just going to skim through about Encyclopedia Brown because it's not a full story. About Encyclopedia Brown. No case is too small to receive the attention of Encyclopedia Brown. America's favorite sleuth in sneakers, Encyclopedia runs his own detective agency in the Browns' garage, and his fee is only 25 cents a day plus expenses. Whether he is unraveling a mysterious kidnapping or outright a cowardly bully, the 10-year-old detective always finds the solution. Readers have a chance to match wits with Encyclopedia by following the logical clues before consulting the answers included with each mystery. Readers constantly ask if Encyclopedia Brown is a real boy. Donald J. Subel says, "The answer is no. He is perhaps the boy I wanted to be, doing the things I wanted to read about, but not find in my books when I was 10. Ever since the first Encyclopedia Brown mystery was published in 1963, millions of young readers have become fans of the popular boy detective. The Case of the Secret Pitch, published in 1965, is the second title in the series, which has now reached 20 books. In addition, Encyclopedia Brown books include the Wacky series, a cookbook, The Book of Strange but True Crimes, with Rose Subel, his wife, and several Encyclopedia Brown record books of weird and wonderful facts. The Case of the Secret Pitch. Idaville looked like any other town of its size from the outside. On the inside, however, it was different. 10-year-old Encyclopedia Brown, America's Sherlock Holmes in sneakers, lived there. Besides Encyclopedia, Idaville had 3 movie theaters, a little league, 4 banks, and 2 delicatessens. It had large houses and small houses, good schools, churches, stores, and even an ugly old section by the railroad tracks. It had, everyone believed, the best police force in the world. For more than a year, no one, boy, girl, or grown-up, had got away with breaking a single law. Encyclopedia's father was chief of police. People said he was the smartest chief of police in the world, and his officers were the best trained and the bravest. Chief Brown knew better. His men were brave, true enough. They did their jobs well, but Chief Brown brought his hardest cases home for Encyclopedia to solve. For a year now, Chief Brown had been getting the answers during dinner in his red brick house on Rover Avenue. He never told a soul. How could he? Who would believe that the guiding hand behind Idaville's crime cleanup wore a junior-sized baseball mitt? Encyclopedia never let out the secret either. He didn't want to seem different from other 5th graders. There was nothing he could do about his nickname, however. An encyclopedia is a book or a set of books filled with facts on all subjects. Encyclopedia had read so many books His head held more facts than a library. Nobody but his teacher and his parents called him by his real name, Leroy. He was called Encyclopedia by everyone else in Idaville. Encyclopedia did not do all his crime busting seated at the dinner table. During the summer, he usually solved mysteries while walking around. Soon after vacation began, he had opened his own detective business. He wanted to help other children seeking help of every kind came to his office in the brown garage. Encyclopedia handled each case himself. The terms of business were clearly stated on the sign that hung outside the garage. One morning, Speedy Flanagan, the shortest, fastest pitcher in the Idaville Little League, walked into the Brown Detective Agency. He wore a face longer than the last day of school. "I need help," he said, side-arming 25 cents into the gasoline can beside Encyclopedia. "What do you know about Browning?" "Nothing. Borrowing." "Nothing. I've never borrowed," replied Encyclopedia. "But once at the beach, I tanned something awful. And I mean Robert Browning," said Speedy. "The English poet?" No, said Speedy. "The American League pitcher, Robert Spike Browning." Even Encyclopedia's Aunt Bessie knew of Spike Browning. He was the ace of the New York Yankees pitching staff. "What do you want to know about him?" asked Encyclopedia. "Do you know what his handwriting looks like?" asked Speedy. "I made a bet with Bugs Meany. My bet against his. That Bugs couldn't get Spike Browning to buy a secret pitch for $100. "Whoa," cried Encyclopedia. "If I understand you, Bugs bet he could sell Spike Browning a special way to throw a baseball?" "Right. Bugs and his father were in New York City last week in June," said Speedy. "Bugs said he sold Spike Browning his crown-eyed special." "You better to explain," said Encyclopedia. "The pitcher crosses his eyes wherever there are runners on first and third base," said Speedy. "That way nobody knows where he's looking, whether he's going to throw to first base, third base, or home plate. The runners don't dare take a lead. The secret is how the pitcher can throw a ball someplace while staring himself in the eye." Bugs told the secret. "He has the letter from Spike Browning and a check for $100. "Phew," said Encyclopedia. "I understand you now. You figure Bugs wrote the letter and the check himself to win the bet in your bet. So do I. Let's go see Bugs." Bugs Meany was the leader of the Tigers, a gang of older boys who caused more trouble than itching powder in Friday's wash. Since setting up as a detective, Encyclopedia had stopped many of Bugs' shady deals. The Tigers' clubhouse was a tool shed behind Mr. Sweeney's auto body shop. When Encyclopedia and Speedy arrived, Bugs was leading a discussion on how to beat the bubble gum machine around town. The Tigers' leader broke off to greet Encyclopedia. "Get lost," he said. "Not until I have a chance to see the letter and check from Spike Browning," said Encyclopedia. Bugs opened a cigar box and passed Encyclopedia a check and a letter. Encyclopedia read the letter. "Yankee Stadium, New York, June 31st. Dear Bugs, your cross-eyed pitch is the greatest thing since the spitball. I expect to win 30 games with it this season. For sole rights to the secret of it, I'm happy to enclose a check for $100. Yours truly, Spike Browning." The letter was written on plain white paper. The check, bearing the same date as the letter, was drawn on the First National Bank for $100. Spike will win 50 games this season, said Bugs. And I won one baseball bat from Speedy Flanagan. So where is it? Where's your bat? Corrected Encyclopedia. Speedy won the bet. You lost. The letter and checks are fake. I ought to shove those words down your throat, said Bugs. But I'm feeling too good about what I did for the great American game of baseball. Bugs crossed his eyes, humming to himself, and went into his secret throwing motion. The other tigers cheered wildly. Man, oh man, sang Bugs. I invented the greatest pitch since Edison throughout the glass lamp. No smart aleck private detective is going to walk in here and call me a liar. Oh, yes, I am, said Encyclopedia. Spike Browning never wrote that letter. The check is a worthless piece of paper. What made Encyclopedia so certain? Solution to the case of the secret pitch. Encyclopedia knew instantly that neither the letter nor the check was written by the Yankee pitcher Spike Browning, nor by any grown-up. Both the check and the letter bore the same date, June 31st, but no year was given. And there is no June 31st. June has only 30 days. Shown the errors, Bugs could do nothing but admit having written the letter and check himself. As the loser of the bet, he had to give Speedy Flanagan his baseball bat. The end.